to the Learning Letter. Today I'm going through my schedule that we are using for 4th grade this year, and at the end I'll talk to you about what our typical day was that we did today. But basically my schedule is split over a 4-day, and Friday is slightly different. I have shared my previous schedules, I think, for every grade, K through now 4. So if you've got younger children, then definitely check back on my older videos to see what we've done previously. But basically we do our language arts every day, and what I'm using is Beowulf Grammar and Beowulf Language Arts. I also use handwriting without tears, and I use phonetics through spelling. So what I do is I look at everything that's on my language arts schedule for Beowulf Language Arts and Grammar, and then I obviously look at my phonetic zoo lessons, and I look at handwriting without tears, and then I split each day what we're going to do. So I'll maybe do a portion of what's part of the grammar and language arts for Beowulf on one day, and then split evenly between the 4, if that makes sense. So we don't do super long lessons. I just prefer the Charlotte Mason method of quality versus quantity. So I'm not going to have us sitting down for hours and hours and hours at a time doing language arts. We do short quality bursts, if you like, with breaks in between, and so I'll split up what's required for the whole week between the 4 days for language arts. Now with Journey Through Time, that's our history program. We're doing it on Monday and a Tuesday, and again I'll do the same thing. I'm really utilising my planning sheet for Journey Through Time, and I'll split it on a Monday and a Tuesday. So I'll split what books we're going to read, what YouTube videos we're going to watch, what websites we're going to explore, and then what activities we're going to do. So for example, for this week, for activities, so for Monday our activity was to write our name in stone. So there's this interactive little program you could do on the computer to do that, and then also for Tuesday it was how to draw a woolly mammoth. That's in addition to our notebook, which is separate to our activities. If you've bought the curriculum, you know what I'm talking about. If not, you've probably seen from my flip through. I have activities plus then I have journal pages that go along with it. And then I've split, as I said, the books between each day. So on Monday, for example, we were reading the Osborne Stone Age book. We were looking at the Wonderwise book. We were looking at Stone Age Bone Age book. Tuesday we were looking at the DK Finds Out Stone Age. We were looking at Little Grunt and the Big Egg and the Osborne Prehistoric World. So I split them between. Last week we did a lot of our reference books, so we looked through our Encyclopedia of World History, our Knowledge Encyclopedia, so all the ones that had pages allocated, and then this week it was more the read aloud little additional extras that I picked to read for the second week of us doing Journey Through Time. And then for YouTube on Monday, so for YouTube on Monday we watched a day in the life of in the Bronze Age, and then for Tuesday we watched Visiting a Bronze Age Home, which is really good. And then for our websites on Monday we watched A Day in the Life of a Stone Age Boy, or we read about the day in the life, I think it had a video element too actually, about the life of a Stone Age boy. And then on Tuesday we did a quiz, which was could you survive in the Stone Age? And then, as I said, we did our writing in stone activity for the Monday, and then the Tuesday how to draw a woolly mammoth. So that's what we did for Journey Through Time this week. So basically I just split the activities. Journey Through Time is very much you pick what you want to do scenario, and I utilise the planning page a ton. So for example, here was my planning page that I did for this week, and then filled everything out of what I wanted to do each day for the activities and the websites and the YouTube and books. Okay, so that's Monday and Tuesday. For Wednesday and Thursday we do geography. So on Wednesday we do curriculum style geography, so we do our skills sharpener geography, and then we also do our Collins geography book. And then on Thursday we do our unit study style geography. So currently we are going to start Gather Round Africa unit on Thursday, and I'm super excited to do that. So that's what we're doing for geography. Now for Dining on Science, if you've purchased Dining on Science, you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, watch the flip through video. But basically Dining on Science is set out with a starter, a main course, dessert and a buffet, hence Dining on Science. The starter is to read several books, so some of them are reference books, to go along with the particular topic of the Magic School Bus video that we'll be watching, which again is part of the starter, is to watch the Magic School Bus episode that goes along with the title. The main course are YouTube videos, The main course are YouTube videos that go along with the topic and also an activity. Often it's from Teachers Pay Teachers. And then the dessert is a fun activity to go along with the topic. And then for the buffet we have several different options of either language arts, experiments, art, baking. There's lots of different options depending on the topic. So cross-curricular style activities that go along with the theme. So for this week we were doing In a Pickle, which is all about microbes, and we watched on Monday we read the books, we watched the Magic School Bus episode, we watched the YouTube videos. We did quite a lot of it on Monday actually because we were really into the topic. It was really fun. So we watched the YouTube videos, we watched, as I said, the Magic School Bus episode, and we also did an item from the buffet, which was to draw microbes and germs, which is really fun. I directed drawing, she loved that. Then on Tuesday, which is today, we made edible bacteria, edible microbes, so just jelly with sprinkles in basically, but it was fun. She really enjoyed it. For Wednesday we are going to continue doing some experiments. I've got the Magic School Bus germs kit, I think it's called, and you get to go grow germs and you get some antiseptic ointment with it that you can try and cure them with, and it looks really fun. So it's you know, curing bacteria with the ointment that they've given you. It just looks like a really fun experiment. So we're going to be doing that on Wednesday and Thursday. And then next, after we have lunch, so we break for lunch, and then when we come back from lunch we do maths. So we just do our lesson for maths, and then usually some kind of activity to go along with it at the end. So it could be a math game, or it could be that we do a multiplication game or activity. We've been utilising musical multiplication from The Good and Beautiful, which was something I bought years ago, but we never really used it because of the way it taught. I was not sure about the concept, and I think it was better for us to learn general skip counting first and then to do this, which is the way we've done it, and it makes way more sense that way. To me, to just start out from that was a bit, I'm not sure, they seemed out of order and I couldn't come to grips with the way they were doing it. But basically they teach it for memorization rather than skip counting, which is fine, but I wanted to do skip counting first and then move on to the memorization, you know, so you've got that speedier answer. So that's what we're doing now, and it's really good. She really likes it, so I'm glad I actually kept, well, it was a download anyway, but I'm glad I actually didn't delete it or anything, and kept it, because we are utilizing that now a lot. And it's really fun. Even I'm getting along with the jingles and singing them too. So that's what we do for maths. Then every day we have a different, what I call my extras. So we have, it's not extras as in I don't think it's important, it's just the name that I've given to that group of subjects. So on a Monday we do art, Tuesday baking, Wednesday's French, and Thursday's IT. For IT we are using handwriting without tears, which is keyboarding without tears program, and we also do some of my activities from my IT program that I made, and then we also do Scratch and coding and other things like that. So it just depends. We don't all do those at the same time, but I'll alternate. So one week we'll do a keyboarding without tears, one week we'll do my IT program, one week we'll do some coding, you know, we'll alternate it. And then we come to Friday. Now Friday is our unit study day. So our first unit study of the year is animals and veterinary practice, because it's something that my daughter is really interested in for future career. She wants to have her own rescue shelter where she rescues animals, you know, that are injured or that need homes and everything else, and takes care of them. So she's really, really into veterinary and animals and everything else. So I pulled together a few different resources to make a little veterinary unit for her, and then Campfire Curriculums released their own little Through the Eyes of a Veterinary Professional too, so it added that into the mix. But we did our first Friday last week and we absolutely loved it. After that we do music, then we do our fun school journal, we do maths, and then we have our swimming. So that's our schedule. That's an overview of what it looks like. Now if we have a group on one of the days, we just either do stuff when we get back or before, or we don't do it that day, and that's fine, because I schedule throughout the year, so you know, we're not missing anything. So for example, if we go to a homeschools group one day, we'll just catch up the next day, or we'll just because we school the way we school for the 36 plus weeks, it all evens out, and we don't take the same amount of holiday time as the schools do, so it all evens out fine anyway. So if we do have a group that day, it's fine to miss and then we'll catch up. It's absolutely fine. The same with field trips. So if we've got a field trip that day, we don't worry about what's on our schedule for that day. We'll just do it the next day. And when I'm actually planning for that week and putting work boxes together, I'll know what day we're not going to be there, so I won't put stuff in for that day, if you know what I mean. So I'm not running behind. I'm not thinking, you know, I've got all this list of stuff we've got to do. I'll only plan for that week and put in the work box for that week for days I know that we're going to be at home doing school. So in terms of time and everything else, do we start at a set time? Do we finish at a set time? We don't. We get up, we have our breakfast, we do, you know, a few chores around the house, get ready. Well, I do the few chores around the house. My daughter's having her breakfast, and then get dressed and we go. So I'm not, we have to be started by 8, we have to be started by 9. No, we don't. We start from the time we start is from the time we finish, basically. So it rounds about, I'd say currently, and this might change because we've only just started this year, it's looking on about 4 hours for us to finish everything, but that's really including all the extra stuff too. So if we're baking, you know, that includes everything that involves with that too. So, you know, it's not that we're sat down at a table for 4 hours. It's, you know, it's we're up and around, we're doing stuff upstairs, we're doing stuff downstairs. Because I split it, we do portion of the day upstairs and then a portion of the day downstairs, because for science, you know, there's all the experiment stuff and I keep that all downstairs. So basically we're upstairs for language arts and history, or language arts and geography, and then we go downstairs and we do our dining on science and math and all the other things downstairs, because it's where all the other things are and it just makes sense. Sometimes we'll come back up and maybe do our French upstairs, it just depends, but we split our day that way, so we're not always sat at our desk. We do move around, everything else, and a lesson takes as long as it takes, in terms of there's no right, we have to be done for this time, or we can only do this amount of time for this lesson. I don't do it that way. So what I've planned is what we'll try and get done. If there's a problem or anything else, or it's taking a bit longer, there's no panic. I don't panic and think, oh my gosh, we have to rush through because we've got to do our next activity. It takes as long as it takes. But because I've been schooling for so long now, I know how long we're going to need for things. You just get into a flow, I found, and I know how long it usually takes for us to do an activity. So if she's writing something herself versus dictating it or whatever, I have an idea in mind as to how long things should take. And I've never had a problem where at the end of the day, you know, we've not got everything done, or there's tons of stuff still on my list that we haven't got done, because I don't tend to over plan. I know what we can do, and that's just from experience because we've done it for so long. And there's always, you know, for the first couple of weeks, like, if it's a new curriculum, so you've always got your little I wouldn't say teething issues, but you know, you've always got to look at the new curriculum and see how it flows and everything else and adjust stuff. But because this year there's only one that's a new curriculum to us, which is Beowulf Language Arts. I created Journey Through Time and Dining on Science myself, so I when I was making it, I was planning it for us. So maths is different as well, because we are using a different maths curriculum, but it's open and go. It's not, I don't have tons of planning to do with it or anything like that. So there's not tons of new things to learn, apart from, as I said, Beowulf Language Arts. And it was just a case of, for the first couple of days, figuring out if I liked her schedule, the way she laid things out, or if I wanted to adapt it. And because it's very flexible in that quite a chunk of what she actually allocates is not specified to a certain day, you have the flexibility of saying, well, okay, well, we'll play those YouTube games on this day, or, you know, we'll do this, watch that video on this day. So it makes it very flexible anyway. The only thing she really schedules is what worksheet she says you should do per day. But again, even that, I do what I think would be appropriate for us, and I'll say, actually, no, I want to do that day, Tuesday instead of Monday, and blah blah blah. And she explains explicitly throughout that that's absolutely fine. It's your schedule to make work for you. It's not set in stone that you have to do this, this and this on the particular day. So yes, I don't know what else I can really say, other than it works for us, but everybody's different and you have to find what works for you. but I'm very much in the Charlotte Mason method in terms of quality over quantity, in terms of how long we do subjects for, because there's only so much your brain can take in. And because I have schooled my daughter for so long, I do know what her limits are and when, you know, when she's done and when we're ready to move on and everything else. And that's just something that comes with time, you know, if you are a new homeschooler. So I hope that was helpful for you, and I will insert some clips of me explaining what we did today, and that was Tuesday. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Okay, so I just thought I'd share with you what we did today. I'd say it's mostly what I had planned. The only thing slightly different is that we were planning to go to the park, but we won't do that. I'll explain why in a second. But other than that, everything else is still the same. So basically, my daughter woke up this morning and she's not sick, but she said she wasn't feeling the best. A few little cold symptoms, nothing, you know, to worry about or anything like that. At the moment anyway, it's just, you know, it's that time of year, summer's ending, it's getting a bit cooler, so, you know, just snuffly nose and things like that. Nothing too bad or anything, but just to be on the safe side, we decided we wouldn't go to the park today. So what we did when we woke up is we had our breakfast. I took care of the puppies and the cat, so cat litter box changed, took care of all the puppies, fed them and everything else. While my daughter was eating her breakfast, I also swept the kitchen floor and hoovered the living room while she was eating her breakfast. Then I ate my breakfast. It doesn't take me long to eat. And then we came upstairs to school, so we got dressed, teeth and everything else, and then we started school. We did our language arts, which is Beowulf language arts. We did our grammar portion today, so it was a sheet all about nouns, and then there was a little story prompt to write a story about how Beowulf learned to read, so we did that. We also did one of the noun games that she's linked on the computer, and we read a noun book, The Merry-Go-Round of Nouns, which was a really good book actually. I definitely recommend that one. And then on YouTube we watched a video on abstract nouns and another video about just nouns overall. So we did that for language arts and grammar. We also did Let's Draw a Storybook, which again is part of the Beowulf language arts. We read the introduction pages, and then she did the first page of the drawing. So that's what we did for language arts today. We didn't do spelling today because we did spelling yesterday and I did a pre-test and she got all of them right, so I didn't do spelling today, but tomorrow I'll get new words, basically because she will just go on to the next lesson because she got them all right yesterday, so we didn't need to practice them every day. So that's why we didn't do spelling today. So that's what we did for language arts. Then we went on to Journey Through Time. So Journey Through Time, I'm using the planner page a lot, which I really like. So basically on my planner page for Journey Through Time, it's got what books we're going to read, what videos we're going to watch, what websites we're going to utilise, and then what activities we're going to do. So for today is Tuesday, so yesterday we did a lot of our reading, we did several activities, and then for today we read the remaining books that we hadn't read. We watched a Bronze House, which was really good, really enjoyed that. I, as I said, read the books that were left from this week, from yesterday. I split the books over 2 days, so we read the remaining books that I had to read today, and then we looked at our prehistory timeline, and then we did our activity, which was how to draw a woolly mammoth. So that was what we did for history, for Journey Through Time, which was great. Now, next was Dining on Science. So yesterday for Dining on Science, we read the books, we watched the YouTube videos about microbes. We're doing it in a pickle. We watched YouTube videos about microbes. We also watched the Magic School Bus episode as well. So today we did the dessert, which was, oh, and also we did one of the activities yesterday too, which was to draw germs, basically. So she really liked that. It was like a directed drawing video on YouTube for drawing different microbes and things, and she loved that. But one of the videos we watched about microbes was fascinating yesterday. She absolutely loved it, and she watched it several times, thought it was that good. So today we did the dessert activity, which was to make edible bacteria. So we made jelly and then we put sprinkles in, and they're in the fridge to set. So we'll have those for tea, for dinner, for dessert, after dinner. We put some edible eyes in and some little fun sprinkles that we got over the weekend to put into the jelly to make edible bacteria and edible microbes, if you like. So that's what we did for Journey Through Time, for Dining on Science today. Later on I'm going to make the the AGOV, which we need to do our germ experiment tomorrow, but they have to set overnight, so I'll do that later on. So that's what we did for Dining on Science. Then we had our lunch. We did maths, so we did our math lesson today, and then after that we did it was our baking day. It was supposed to be baking today, but because we made the edible bacteria, I thought actually we'll skip that today. And what we did instead, the fall bundle from Home and Haven, I think it is. Grace and Great often promotes it, so I bought that, and we did some of the apple activities. So basically, we chopped open the apple and dissected it. Everything else looked into it, and that it came with a poster that you could look at. It also had a Venn diagram where you could compare the inside skin to the outside. Inside flesh to the outside skin and everything else. So we did that this afternoon as a fun little activity instead of doing baking, because we'd already made our edible jelly. So that's what we did today. Then we will play some this afternoon, and we'll probably get a few educational games in. We read our morning cart books. We didn't actually do it first thing in the morning. We read them a bit at lunchtime. So I did the Lost Words book. We did the poem of the day from Tiger Brain and Bright book, which I love. We did our vocabulary book from Wordsmith, Mrs. Wordsmith, and our vocabulary cartoon. And then I started doing the Burgess book of birds, so we read that from our morning cart. Then this evening from our morning cart we will carry on reading Animals of Farthing Wood, and we're also reading the Ice Monster, which is for history, so it's all about William Ellis. To be honest, I'm not quite too sure if I like that book yet. It was started off quite dramatic, so I'm going to give that the chance a little bit longer, read a couple more chapters. But yeah, it was not nice to the beginning of it. It was about a little girl who was in an orphanage, and the person who was taking care of her was absolutely horrible, and it was not nice. I did not like the opening to that book. I mean, I know that happens in reality, but it was not a nice start to a book. So I'm going to give it another try though. We've only read the first chapter. But that was one of the read louds for the... it's not on my Journey Through Time list. It was something that I saw in the library, and I thought, oh, that looks good. So I ended up buying it because it was cheap from Amazon. It was on sale. It's not on my journey. It wasn't on my read loud list to begin with, but I saw it and thought, oh, maybe we'll give that a try. But there you go. So that was a library book that I'm not too sure of whether I'm liking it, but we'll give it another chance. Anyway, so that's our read loud for this evening. So we're doing The Animals of Farthing Wood, In the Grip of Winter, which is the second book in the series, and then The Ice Monster, we're giving it another try. So that's what we'll do for tonight's reading, plus her book that she's reading herself, and then she always usually picks another book for me to read to her as well. So that was our day today, and as I said, we've still got our games on our cart. So I've got a couple of games for language arts, I've got a couple of games for maths, and a logic game. So this afternoon at some point we'll probably fit those in, depending on what a game is that she's setting up for me downstairs. She's currently setting it up for me downstairs to get ready to do that. More taking care of the puppies, more taking care of her other pets, playing, and yeah, that's our day today. So that's what today looked like. The only difference, as I said, was because we didn't go to the park like we planned. That's what a typical day is like. So I hope that gave you an insight, and my schedule information was useful. If you've got any more questions, definitely leave them below, and I'll see you in our next video. Take care. Bye for now.